Hi lovelies, welcome to the living room. I was inspired tonight by one of the yinsters to do a yin practice, and I thought it just seemed appropriate since I've been feeling pretty out of sorts past couple of days. I haven't wanted to get to the mat, I haven't wanted to practice, and I think what'll help is in yin this idea of surrender. Yin asks us to surrender, yin asks us to let go, yin asks us to just be, simply to be. And I think that was what I was looking for, and I think that was my inspiration as I kind of would look at my mat every couple of days and be like, I guess I should do something, and just different distractions, little furry distractions, wanting a little bit of attention, and finding myself just kind of going on with my day and not spending time on my mat. So I'm going to do a little hip opening yin practice tonight. If something doesn't feel good in your body, please don't do it. And as always, just make sure that this is something safe for your body, that you're not forcing yourself or hurting yourself. Part of this idea of surrender and letting go, that is yin, is listening to your body and honoring that, right? We're not going to surrender and then force. Surrender is just simply, accepting what is. And I think that's really important, to simply accept what is in this moment, because that's all we have, right? All we have to do is accept. So today I have Mr. Kai. Today I have Mr. Kai, but today I also have a bolster, maybe a block, and if you don't have a bolster, then a couch cushion or a big pillow will do. But this entire practice is done seated. I don't have music playing, but if you have a soundtrack that you like to listen to, and yin is still. Yin is quiet, so if you get cold, feel free to put on a sweater, to put on a pair of woolly socks, to just get really, really comfortable. So we're going to start in an easy seat, an easy crisscross position. So I'm sort of half on and half off my blanket. And if you don't have a yoga blanket, a fancy yoga blanket, then certainly a bath towel or a small pillow can do. If you don't have a cat, well, maybe you've got a dog, or you don't have to have anything, but I seem to have this guy with me tonight, so he's going to be hanging around a little bit. He might even sing to you. So sitting up nice and tall, dropping your shoulders down away from your ears, softening your face, quieting your mind, letting thoughts dissolve. And we're at home, so there'll be distractions, whether they're furry distractions or noisy distractions like a phone or your computer beeping or your phone, your smartphone doing something. Family member walking through. You can let that go. If you don't need to deal with it at this moment, then see if it can wait. Finding yourself rooted and grounded. So if you find that your pelvis is not tilting forward, easily come to the edge of your support. Let your shoulders glide down your back and into your back pockets, and lift from the roof of the mouth and the crown of the head. Listening to your body. Pain-free range of motion, no competition, no expectations. Surrender, letting things simply be. Taking a big inhale. Exhale together through the mouth and the nose, letting go. To begin practice, just sharing in the sound of Om. Big inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to make our way onto our backs to begin. I'm going to do my best, hopefully you can see me. going to scoop my blanket out of the way. You could always use it to support your head if you find that your chin is up too high and it's a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to move this out of the way. Scoop Mr. Kai. I'm going to come onto our backs. And as we do, bring the knees in towards the chest. And just start to rock from side to side. Side to side. You are going to be here the whole time, aren't you? And then maybe round and round, letting the day just melt off you. Rolling off your back. Down into the mat, and from the mat into the floor. Taking your knees and separating them, turning the toes to either side of the room. Get in touch with your inner frog, moving your knees away, around, and in. Way around and in. Looking to wake up the hips. And then reverse. So we are going to practice stillness. Yin is stillness, but I do like to start with a little bit of movement just to get those joints going, that internal oil can. And then bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and then let the knees open wide. Soles of the feet come together, supine butterfly. Your hands could rest on your belly like I have. They could be out in a cactus or a T position. If this is too much to have the knees just kind of open, you can bring blocks, yoga blocks underneath, or I have a stack of books that I tied together with string, which could work very nicely as a block. And we're going to find ourselves here in this supine position. So what I'm going to do is I'll get you into the position and I'll kind of come out and talk a little bit, come back in. It's probably hard to hear me on my back. So let this work for you. Let this be a place of ease. And if you want to, and you want to lift up a little bit higher, if that feels better. Some people like this a lot, like a bolster. A bolster, maybe with a block or a book on an incline. And you're in the same shape. Supine butterfly. Like Supta Baddha Konasana. We don't use a lot of the Sanskrit in Yin, but you're familiar with that. And if I were here using this support, I would actually bring the blanket behind my head. The blanket or the towel. I think I just unfolded because I threw it back there. And you feel the rise and the fall of your own breath. Let your eyes sink heavy. Flesh of your face glides back towards your ears. Jaw is loose. Follow your breath. Follow your breath as it enters your body through your nose, filling your belly, your ribs, and your chest. If your eyes aren't closed, let them soften. Let it soften. It might be nice to have some of your own music in the background. Maybe letting your hands rest on your heart. Taking a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for getting yourself onto your mat today. Want your body to be heavy, heavy and sinking. But at the same time, let your body be light. things you can't control. It's a perfect practice to do first thing in the morning to prepare yourself for your day, or perhaps the last thing at night, so you're ready to go to sleep. Everything just go when it came before you got to your nap. So I've got a timer, I'm watching the time. Give it a few more minutes. An eye pillow is nice if you don't have an eye pillow, a washcloth, a small hand towel. A little less than a minute left. On your exhale, can you sink into the shape a little deeper? Surrender, acceptance. Last. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly rising. Maybe pressing the hands down or rolling over to one side. You'll make your way up to a seated position. Finding those crisscross ankles again. Maybe the opposite ankle is in front. Making circles through the belly. Starting off small, gradually getting a little bigger. Pausing and reversing. And coming back up to a seated position, we're going to make our way to all fours. So I'm going to offer some deeper shapes. You obviously don't have to do them. You could do it for, a few seconds if this isn't working for you, and wait for the next pose or just sort of move on. But I thought I would challenge you today. I'm going to bring my knees, and I'll stay in this pose with you. Bringing your knees to a blanket. Coming to all fours. I'm going to take the right leg. I'm going to slide it forward and back. So some of you who've practiced with me before know exactly where we're going, and you're groaning already, but that's okay. Making a few circles definitely makes you feel much more present when you start in these deeper shapes. And then we're going to take, from those circles, going to step that right foot wide to the outside of the right hand. I'm going to slide the left knee back. So I'm going to turn so you can see. Actually, I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to slide the left knee back enough that I'm not at the bottom of the knee. I don't have weight at the bottom of the knee. I've slid it back. So I've got weight at the top of the knee so I don't cause a little discomfort. There's the attachments that run through the bottom of this knee area, and if you put weight on it, it doesn't feel great. So I have my, I'll turn this way, right knee over the right ankle. It may go slightly beyond, but I would not take it further than the toes. It could be slightly back if that feels better, but we don't want to take it too far forward. So I'm going to face you again. So we're prepping for a dragon pose. So I'm starting off with my hands down. Oh, gee, can't see my hands anymore. Slide back. With my hands down on the floor, heart is forward and up. And this is where you can take your props as we begin to marinate into this shape. I may start off with my forearms on a bolster and hang out here. I'm going to set the timer. Now, just to show you my right leg, I'm just coming up to show you. You can stay with your forearms on a bolster, those pillows, a bunch of blocks, as high as you want it stacked. You can stay here with the toes forward like I have it. You can turn the toes out to the right. Or another variation is to roll to the outer edge of the right foot. And if I do that, I find that I can slide my left knee back a little bit more. Coming down onto the forearms, a deeper expression of dragon. But knowing that I don't have to be this deep, I can come up and find a little bit more support. So in the yin, and I'm completely stealing some of this from Bernie Clark, he talks a lot, and I love the way he just makes it always so gentle. He talks about the middle path. And the way I think of this middle path is almost like a two-lane highway. You have the center, right, that maybe those double lines or the single line, and you have one shoulder, right, maybe in the slow lane and one shoulder in the fast lane. I think of it as you don't want the extremes in yin. You don't want to feel absolutely nothing, which would be in that maybe slow lane shoulder, and you don't want to be in pain, which would be in the fast lane shoulder. You don't want to go into the shoulders. You want to stay towards that middle. And you decide if you want to be more on one side or the other, but not going all the way to the extreme, which would be in the shoulder. So this middle path of feeling something, right? That dull ache, perhaps, or it could feel like a deep stretch. I don't necessarily want to use that word, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of all of that, but you want to feel something, just not pain. And just following your breath, and it might get a little bit intense at points. And then you can always back off. You can straighten the arms, you could take a break, you can take a minute. Or if you feel like you can come in deeper, you're moving your prop out of the way, coming down onto the forearms. I'm going to come up because I have to keep my head lifted so I don't put my head down. That would be kind of rude, it'd probably be hard to hear me. So I'm going to stay with my arms on the forearms so I can keep my head lifted. This is just in my living room with my computer and a little webcam. So it's not exactly a professional outfit. So we're doing our best. That's all we can do these times. We're just doing our best. Tiny bit more than a minute. Tiny bit more. So don't keep your head up. I find that I'm keeping my head up. So again, it's easier for you to hear me, but sometimes I need to put my head down a little bit because I'm actually pressing my upper spine a little bit, putting a little kink in my neck. I've seen people actually lie on their bolsters, turning it more that long way underneath them, and they sort of lie on it. But that would probably take a moment or two to really surrender down so you could lie on it. Tiny bit more than half a minute. And again, you can change the leg position a little bit. I've kind of rolled outward. You can turn the toes. It's kind of intense. It brings up a lot. These hip openers. If you're holding your breath, pause. Alright. I'm going to come out to use the bowl to get us out of the pose. So you can stay where you are. Hard. We're not going to come all the way out. We're not going to. Well, you can. I mean, if you need to take that right leg and shake it out, I'm just stretching back into a runner's stretch. So on the right leg, take a little bit more time on that right side. Pigeon pose. If you know off the bat that pigeon doesn't work for you, if you know pigeon, actually it's sleeping swan in yin. Actually, that's sleeping swan first. So sleeping swan is the same as pigeon, or almost the same as pigeon. If you know off the top of your head that you know that you don't like that, wait, I'll show you the alternative. But if sleeping swan is available to you, I'm walking my right foot over to the left. And I don't know if you can see with the sweater in the way. Now my shin does not get parallel to the front of the mat. I've been doing yoga since the early 90s. It just doesn't. That's just the way my body is shaped. So I'm doing my very best by drawing my right hip back, my left hip forward, trying to even out a little bit so I'm not completely falling to the right side. You can always take that blanket underneath your hip, an extra towel. And I'm going to come down onto my forearms. You can see that, probably not anymore. I'll turn to the side. You can come down onto the forearms and surrender down. So pigeon, very similar to sleeping swan, so if you know that. Perhaps keeping those right toes soft for this, unless you have something going on with your knee. So that is shape, the first shape, not necessarily the better shape. I hate to say the first shape, maybe shape A. Shape B is taking this to your back. So you can see a little bit better. So it looks very similar, but now you're on your back with your right ankle. Maybe not, I should turn the other way. With your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Head, neck, and shoulders are down. You can stay with your left foot on the floor, or you can place your left foot on that bolster, a block, or you can draw the left knee in towards the chest and thread the ears. Relaxing the shoulders down, away from the ears, and soften in. So wherever you are, here is surrender. These particular shapes are all about surrender. They're all about letting go. Let's come back to the breath. So I was alluding to in dragon or lizard about your breath. If you find yourself holding your breath, pause, come out of the pose. If you notice that your shoulders, right, a lot of times our shoulders hike up to our ears. You want to relax the shoulders down the back, because anytime we've got the shoulders all the way up, we're creating a ton of tension in the body. So relaxing the shoulders down the back, so we've got a nice long neck. A little bit more ease. Anytime that we're clenching the teeth, squeezing the teeth together, we're tightening up the lower body. So what we're doing in the upper body is happening also in the lower body. So if you find yourself tense, right, I'm always doing this because this is like me driving over a bridge or something where I'm like super duper tense. And what it's going to do is going to tighten up everything, right? Now you're in the sympathetic nervous system. Now you are stressed out. And we want to do the opposite of that. We want to be relaxed. And in yin, we really want to be soft, right? We're coming back to this word again, this word of the day, surrender. Surrendering to things we can't change. Right? I know you can change the shape, but maybe the situation around you right now, you can't change. But this is a great tool for your toolbox down the road when we get back to normal. When we're able to move about, right? We have to go back to the DMV. We have to go back to the dentist. We have to go back to seeing people who perhaps create stress in our bodies. We're like, oh, this person again. But can you breathe through it? Can you breathe through it, right? Yin teaches us a lot, right? Those of you who are in pigeon or sleeping swan, right? You've got to breathe through it. And even if you're in that figure 4 shape or thread the needle, you've got to be able to breathe through it. So where are your shoulders? How are your teeth? Maybe your exhale is a little bit longer. jaw be loose. And if you need to sigh it out through the mouth, go ahead and sigh it out through the mouth. Maybe the eyes are closed. If not, they're very soft. Right? You're not focused, super focused in on something. Your gaze is soft. Your gaze is soft. That's what I need to say the whole time. Your gaze is soft. Doing great. It's okay right now if you're mad at me. Oh, I'm still holding this pose. Yeah, but that's okay. You can come out. Right? There's no judgment, no expectations, no competition. Come out if you need to. I jokingly always say I'm not the boss of you. And I'm not. Your breath, I'm stealing this from one of my teachers. Your breath and your body are your teacher. I'm just a guide. Last 2 breaths. So I'm watching the timer. I can't be trusted to watch a clock. Big inhale. And on the exhale, if you're in the sleeping swan, right, in that forward bend, roll onto the left hip, swing the right leg, swing the left leg around, and just sit with it. If you're on your back, you're welcome to just stay there with your feet on the floor. We're going to pause. Just sitting with it. Noticing how you feel. And if you know what to do and you just need to get you in the pose and you want to turn the sound down and your music up, you need to hear me, especially if you're really beginning to move deeply inward. Trying to get to that place where nothing distracts you. It's just you and your breath. Things could be going on around you, and you are just in this place that is deep in the center of you almost. I've heard it called like the gray place, just deep inside. And when you're ready, so one more shape on the right side. So we're going to stretch the legs out in front of us. So we're just going to keep it to these 3 poses. I'm actually going to sit back on my blanket. That's enough for tonight. Next time I'll do a yin back bending class, back bends and twists. So thank you, Amy, for the suggestion of doing a yin. I was very uninspired today. I wasn't even going to do a video. I really wasn't in the mood. It feels very weird for me, very much out of my comfort zone. I never actually look at these once I've done them. I let my son edit them and kind of move on with my day. I'm just going to rock that right leg from side to side. And then take the right knee deeply on top of the left. And then come to the outer edge of the right foot. So this is a shoelace. And the reason I do the shoelace, I know some of you want to do square, but the reason I'm doing shoelace is I'm trying to create a different rotation in the hip joints, having them come inward versus all of the outward stuff we've been doing, with the exception of the lizard or the dragon. But you can do a half variation with just that right leg on top and take a forward bend. I'm actually going to start the timer here. And if this is enough sensation, you're sitting right here. Or you're bending right here, or you're sitting with your back up against a wall. If you want to come in a little bit deeper, I'm going to lean to the left and bend the left knee. Stacking the knees one on top of the other. Perhaps thinking of moving the heels away from one another with the heels in line with the knees, but some people actually like it with the heels back towards the body. And either way, that's fine. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. And that is completely burning. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. I find myself leaning over to the left when I do this, so I want to give myself a little shuffle over to the right. I hold my feet, you don't have to. This is just how I express the shape. It doesn't have to look the same. We're all going to make these shapes look different. You are going to make it look different than I'm making it, or the person next to you, or when you get back to class, the person in front of you, the person behind you. We're all shaped differently. Our bodies are all different. So just let go of that, right? Surrender to what your body is doing today. I mean, every day is different. So I'm not going to come down very deeply into that forward bend, again, because you probably won't be able to hear me. But propping, perhaps. Now you could lie on your back. I don't love that version, very much because I find it more active. Or you could lie down and let your legs go up the wall in this shape. So some of you have seen that shape before. Hi. I wonder when you were coming back. Hanging out. So I was doing a Zoom class the other day, and I get to see anybody who's in the class with me. So it's fun to see the pets walk through, the dogs checking it out, and the kids coming through, wanting to be part of it, and helping mommy get into the pose. And I love that, getting everyone involved, making it a family affair. So if it gets to be too much sensation, you can straighten the bottom leg. And this is quite enough. You can sit up. It doesn't have to look exactly like I'm making it look. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. Okay, there. I'm not sitting on my lap now. Just keep following the breath. Relaxing the shoulders, the face. Don't worry, I'm watching the time. I'm going to leave you here all day. I do a video of him doing tricks. We actually taught him to do some tricks. But he only does them for treats. We're coming in my lap. I don't have this problem at the studios. There's no door to the living room, and when I put them in another room, close the door, then they start to scream, which I think is worse than having them be part of it. I don't see you, I know that, but I can feel it. And tell yourself that. I know it's a cliche, but yoga is for everybody, in everybody. So it doesn't matter. Because I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. That's a good reason to do yoga, because you're not flexible. Oh boy, Mr. Kai, I'm going to ring the bell now. I'm going to like it. Alright, lovelies. Take a big inhale, sorry, sir. And on the exhale, we're going to make our way out of this shape. And again, just sit with it. Just sit with it. There's nothing good in it. Maybe stretch the legs out in front of you. So start to cat mat, pointing and flexing through the feet. Maybe circling the ankles. A few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Wiggling the toes. Maybe bending the knees, shake out the legs. And if you want to give the right leg some attention, some little swirls up the right leg, around behind the calf or the calf. At the calf, thigh, outer thigh. Maybe some loose fists. Make it feel good. Just make it feel good. Even maybe on the foot, little taps with the fingers, little reflexology, rub. Give yourself a moment when we go to the other side and you're rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. And sitting on the blanket now. And forward. Little side movement that feels good. Alright, the good news is only one more leg. We're not a bunch of octopus. We're going to be doing this all night. Only one more side. All right. So now I feel bad, but I'm going to move the cat. All right, come on, you. I'm going to bring the knees back onto the blanket for dragon on the left side. So from all fours. You take the left leg back and forth. Just be mindful of anything that's around you. You are him, aren't you? And maybe create some circles. A few times in one direction, a few times in the other. That's what you're doing with me now. I can't finish the circle. And if you have a chance to do that last circle, go ahead and do it. And then bring the left foot up to the, oops, sorry. I kicked the cat. Okay, now he's on the blanket all the way outside of the left hand, and we're just going to marinate here, knowing that you can use props. Right? Props are a beautiful thing, and you've got so much stuff in your home. I mean, I have, yoga stuff because I've just been collecting it for 12 years. But couch cushions, pillows, all of it works. So whenever you're ready to start the timer, we're going to lower down. And I would start at the highest height, never go into the deepest edge right away. Rolling or pointing the foot out. We're just making sure that knee doesn't go beyond the toes. Slide the right knee back. So make sure that's back and you're not pressing on attachments. If you really need to lift that back knee, sometimes taking a block or maybe a rolled up towel so the knee is just floating above the floor. Finding our dragon. I'm going to relax the shoulders and soften the face. It took me a while to make peace with this shape. This one was always a tough one for me. Because there's always one side that's maybe more challenging. Just keep following. By the way, I feel what you're feeling too, so I know how this is. I know what's going on. I know that the hip is screaming at you, perhaps, or at least talking to you. Maybe you're feeling the front of that right thigh, which is also a targeted area for your dragon. Making sure the back of your neck is long. Again, I'm looking up so you can hear me, but maybe you're looking down. Surrender. Try to relax the body. Try to let the muscles go. So like I think I shared in my last yin video, I'm not going too much into all of the nuances of yin yoga, and there are lots and lots and lots. Go to yinyoga.com, which is Bernie Clark's site. You can read one of his books there. I joke and call it my gateway drug into yin. When I read that book, I was like, oh wow, this is interesting, and I wanted to know more. So that started my journey into this practice. Actually, first time I took a yin class, I hated it, didn't like it. Because I was used to vinyasa, I was used to movement. And then one day it just sort of gelled, it just sort of clicked with me. Like, oh, I get it now. When I felt my body just changing. And maybe, you know, how to describe it? I know that Bernie says it improved his golf game. And well, I don't play golf, but it definitely changed my other yoga practice, my vinyasa yoga practice. But I also felt better sitting in a chair all day. Yeah, it just my body felt better. I think I even slept better. 1 minute left. You can always come up like I did with straight arms, but just make sure the shoulders aren't up towards the ears. And if it's cold, by all means put a sweater on. I'm regretting not putting socks on. It's nighttime here, probably close to 9 o'clock. Yep, just about 9 o'clock. Last few breaths. So my son will do the editing so you guys won't see it until another couple of days from now. Big breath in, big breath out. I guess it's good sometimes to come out of your comfort zone, because this is absolutely coming out of the comfort zone moment for me. So remember, we're going to go from lizard into pigeon or sleeping swan, so you can come out if you need to. Or, oh, I lost the bowl. Let me bring you out of the shape. Over. You can sit back in a runner's stretch if you need it. By all means, please go ahead and do that. Or you're taking the left leg over to the right, going right into your pigeon or sleeping swan. Just trying to move away from it, not sit on the cat. And then melting down into the shape, or it's ridiculous. Nobody wants to move the cat, especially me. The left ankle on the right thigh. And you can have the foot down on the floor. You can have it on a block, on a bolster. Head, neck, and shoulders would be down. It's just that bowl behind me. And it could look like this. I'm just not jamming behind the knee joint. I'm slightly below it. So wherever you are, whether you're in the sleeping swan or whether you're in the figure 4 pose, come back to your breath. Try to soften and surrender. So during this time that we're needing to be still, this might be helpful. It's hard to be still. It's hard to get out of that comfort zone. And I'm finding that my comfort zone to be going to studios to teach, not teaching in my living room, not having, you know, these interruptions. I know if I practice on my own, I'm going to have this interruption, and I can just kind of let that go. But trying to maintain some normalcy, I guess, but I think also getting out of my comfort zone too is good. It kind of makes me feel less sluggish. I've been feeling sluggish. And again, I think it's just surrendering to what is. And I think when I stopped fighting against this is, you know, this is the way this is, I started to feel a little bit better. But yeah, doing something scary. This is scary. we can be, I can only speak for me, and as a woman, when you see yourself on the screen and knowing that it may or may not be exactly how you look, it's almost a little shocking. Like, wow, I'm 50 years old, and you see every little thing on your face and everything that was not the way it used to be, and how the time has shifted, right? Embracing curves, embracing changes in our bodies, and honoring that and surrendering to that, and surrendering to those changes. And that's a tough practice. And I can't say that I'm there yet. All right, accepting, surrendering. There's another cat that comes around. She's sleeping. She probably shouldn't be. But she loves the mat. She loves to claw the mat, so I have to make sure that she doesn't destroy this mat. It's kind of a nice one. Has a nubbin for it. About a minute left. Just really letting go, coming back to your breath. Remember, it does not have to be perfect for you. No pain. You don't want to be that far to that shoulder of the road where you're feeling. You want to back off from that. You want to get to that edge and then move slightly away from it, so you have somewhere to work towards. Never go to that deepest edge right away. We're almost there. Almost there. It ended up all the way over here. It's kind of funny how my spastic teaching style translates into a home practice. It feels like almost the same, even though I'm almost completely by myself. It's okay. Big inhale, and the exhale. In the swan, you'll roll to the left hip, swing the right leg around. If you're on your back, go ahead and just stay there. Give yourself a moment or two to just sit with it. Notice what comes up. One more pose. Find our way to a seated position, our last shape tonight. Edge of a blanket. So I would encourage you, if you do have a blanket, you need to share it with a feline. Oh, let's pick it up. It's going to sit on the bolster. Taking the left leg and rock it. Rocking the left leg. Wow, you are definitely center of attention tonight. Making some circles. Moving through that hip joint, and then letting the left leg or the left knee rest on top of the right knee, and marinating here. Just forward bend. And starting the timer. You can stay here or lean over to the right, bending the right knee. See, this knee is my troubled knee. So, and I did feel a little bit of a pop when I was trying to get out of the pose with the cat in the way. So I'm not going to push my knee. I'm going to stay with the legs straight tonight as I bend down. Forward bend down here into the shape. So if your knees are if your knees are bothering you, I think he sees his reflection. There's a picture there. If your knees are bothering you like mine is, I'm not going to put extra weight on it by bending the knee, but actually what I could do is this. Oh, that's better. Letting my foot rest on the block, so I'm not putting a lot of my body weight down onto that bottom knee, but I'm also not going to forward bend down all the way. Yeah, I know, you're in the video. And we'll rename this session Cat Yoga. Maybe eventually, if you do have some, that trouble spot, I'm finding it to sort of work its way out. Giving things a little bit of time, sometimes I'm using this word way too much tonight, but it surrenders. It surrenders and you're able to maybe sink in. Let's go. Letting go is another way of saying that. So again, is the quiet practice. Again, you can turn the sound on. You don't need to hear me. You don't need to hear my commentary. If you want to just put on some music, just be. But sometimes if you're new, it's nice to kind of hold on to the talking, to kind of focus in on something. Since I can't see you, I don't know if you're new. Sometimes a little bit of movement within the still shape, it helps my body to begin to relax deeper into it. Softly sighing it out through the mouth sometimes. These palms on your back, the legs up the wall. A little bit less than you. Always straighten the bottom leg if there's too much sensation. You can do it. Just a few more breaths. Get back to our studio homes. It'd be nice. But I guess I'll miss having the cat as part of the practice. It's funny how soothing he can be. He purrs really loud. Probably not. But, yeah, definitely puts me in a different headspace when he comes around and sits in my lap and purrs. Alright, lovelies. That's it. We're done with this. Shake them out, point and flex the feet, circle the ankles. Massage up the leg. Loose fists. And if there's any movement or shape that you need before you get to Shavasana, you can pause this, do that, and then come back, and we can do Shavasana together. So making your way onto your back, if you want to throw on a pair of warm socks, if you want to throw a blanket over yourself. I'm going to put a pillow behind your head. If you want to change the music, go ahead and do that. But make your way into your final relaxation. Maybe your arms are down by your sides with the palms facing up. Coming back to that feeling of the flesh gliding down towards your ears. And fall into your bliss. Lovely yogis, slowly begin to deepen your breath, making one breath a little deeper than the one before, inviting gentle movement by wiggling fingers and toes, circling wrists and ankles, letting the head rock from side to side, lengthening long from fingertip to toe tip. And when you're ready, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, roll over to your left side and pause. And then pressing down to rise up, find an easy seat. We'll meet together with our hands at our heart and our heart towards our hands, our heads bowed in gratitude for our practice, closing out our time together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire world be filled with peace and joy and love and light, and may we contribute to that. Namaste.